Today is gonna be an eventful one. Hopefully not too long. I will try my best. I think I have Michelle on duty today. Oh, yes, Michelle is on duty. Good morning, everybody. Morning. Michelle. Okay, Michelle is working today. Michelle is on duty. So, I'm going to go ahead and get started because we have a lot to do today. I have a chicken, a roast not a roast, it's a whole chicken that I cleaned. Good morning, everybody. I cleaned last night, with the lime, and then, good morning, and then, come on. Michelle, if you act up, I'm going to put you in timeout. Hello, Jewel, hola. And he's got a mind of his own. Okay. All right. That's why I don't like this thing sometimes. And it's like it's leaning. Come on, Michelle. Now you see? Vamos. Okay, I'm going to take Michelle off. It's getting on my nerves. All right. Sorry, guys. So what I wanted to tell you is that I'm doing a roast. So I have the oven already on. And I cleaned the chicken last night. Come on. There we go. So I cleaned it and then I seasoned it a little bit, right? So it's got all the herbs on top. And the secret with roast chicken is that you have to fill the cavity, right? So the cavity, I have some, whatever herbs and whatever you have that doesn't look so good, you just throw it in there. So I have thyme, I have peppers, I have onions, and definitely don't want to forget lemon. So we don't have lemons here, so we do lime. Deborah, I know we hurried and had a shower and we're back here, right? And then of course, in the cavity, you put some salt and pepper and anything else, right? Because what you're trying to do is and garlic. You're trying to get the flavor to infuse through the breast, and that's what's going to give you a good flavor. Listen, I went to the food, I have family here, that's why I'm cooking this. And I went to get a whole chicken. It came with the feet, and they had the head. They had the whole head on the neck. Well, I usually like chicken neck, but the head kind of spooked me. So I cut it off. Hola, Greta, you here? But so the head is off, but I kept the neck. But you know how you get gizzards, like the liver and the heart? I don't see any of that, so I don't know. So this is here. But what I want to do right now is I want to make like a quick little butter, flavored butter, and that's what I'm gonna put it under the skin. My hands are clean, and so I'm gonna have a little bit of my herb oil. I try to always have that on hand. So I'm gonna use a little bit of that and get all the goodness. Ooh, yeah. And I'm going to need a little bit for my dressing for my salad. I'm doing a really fresh salad, really simple, because we're making quiche Lorraine. And quiche Lorraine is very rich. So whenever you have quiche Lorraine, you want to have like a amuse-bouche, like something really fresh, like a fresh. I was looking for arugula, but it was too expensive, so I didn't. I got some lettuce, got some tomatoes, and I have pepino, which is cucumbers, and I think that's what I have for the salad, which is fine, right? So All right, let's get going. I had my butter in the freezer, a little bit that I have left, because we are going to need some really hard butter to make the crust for the quiche Lorraine, because it's just like you making biscuits, right? You want the butter to be cold, but the piece that I need to put under the skin of the chicken, I don't need it to be that cold. So I'm going to soften it a little bit in the microwave. Not too soft. I don't want it to get watery. Maybe 20 seconds, we'll see. All right, so I have herbs in here. I'm gonna put a little bit more. Don't want it to be too soft. Just a few more seconds. Rosemary is good inside, and also the one I'm going to put under the skin. So I do have some romero, which is what we call it here. How is everybody doing? I'm doing good. Well, let me put some more. I already have some thyme in there. But whenever you have meat, just experiment with romero, with rosemary. You're gonna like it. I'm gonna put the butter back in the freezer. For my crust. All right. So this is a little bit of the herb oil with all the garlic. I'm gonna put a bit more garlic. So I'm gonna flatten the butter a little bit. Soften it. Whew. Don't move. And do the slap your mama trick here. Okay, that's good. So I already have thyme, but I want to put a little bit at a time in the batter, even though I have some. I just like to go heavy with thyme. What can I say? I'm gonna take it off the twigs. A little bit more. Hope you guys are doing well. The weather is nice here in Panama. It doesn't feel so hot. All right. And I also I had some culantro. Remember I told you the culantro is a flat leaf one, because I went to the store yesterday and they had like cilantro. It was like almost $3, and I'm like, no. How long does it take you to get from deciding to leave? Oh, all right, we can answer that in a little bit when I have a little time, okay? Most of us take scouting trips, several. Some people have taken 4 or 5. I took 3. And I think it was after the 3rd one that I decided that I wanted to come to Panama. It wasn't before that. So I just watched a little bit of a video that this couple here in town was saying 1 year planning. You know what? This day and age, most people don't have a year to plan. So it depends. I believe you can do it in 6 months. You know, it's an expedited one. But if you have a home and you have kids, you know, it's going to make it a little bit more difficult for you. So, you know, there is no specific timeline. I mean, if you live in an apartment, your list is up, you could probably do it in less time than that, right? So it varies. All right, now the challenge with the roast sometimes is just to make sure that your salt is enough, right? So what you do the herb and you do all that, and then toward like halfway through it, you taste, you know, you taste the liquid that's in the pan to test how, you know, what the salt content is. I do have some habanero peppers, but I don't want to put them inside the chicken because I don't want it to burst in there and everything becomes really hot. I'd be okay, but I don't think the kids would enjoy that, so I don't want to mess them up too bad. But I can put it in here when the chicken starts to cook and let it infuse whatever liquid is in there, right? All right, so we got herb oil, we have garlic, we have romero, we have thyme. You see it? You're making like almost like a paste. So now I'm gonna put more of my stuff in there. Adobo. And you know, I've seen people just do salt and pepper and they're done. I guess you could if you want. But I need a little bit more than that, okay? And I like cumin. I think I put some on there already. And do a little paprika. And I wanted to put a little bit of that dark soy, and it does have salt in it, so you gotta be careful, okay? And usually I don't use a lot, not even half a teaspoon. I don't like to use a lot of that soy. So I'm gonna put a little bit of that sea salt. Sea salt is less salty than regular salt, so you could always do a little bit more. Then I'm gonna taste it. Yep, it doesn't have a lot of salt, but because I had done some of that yesterday, so I think that's good. So now we're going to lift the skin and try to stick that in there. And that's what's going to give you really good flavor. Okay? You know, we're into flavor. We got to flavor our food. I can't eat bland food. I'm sorry. Not sorry. I'm not eating bland food. I see people who say, where's the salt shaker? And that's all they put in there is salt and pepper. I need a little more than that. All right, so now we can go from here. Okay, this side, and whatever is left, we just rub on top of the skin. So we know our chicken is gonna be yum, yum, yum. All right, so I'll put the rest on there because I need to get the chicken in. It's gonna take a good hour. Woo! Chicken feet. I don't eat those. Like, I refuse to eat chicken feet. And my brother's like, well, we're going to take your Caribbean citizenship off. It's the rite of passage that you have to eat chicken feet. My grandma used to love that. Oh my gosh. And I used to run away. I'm not eating those. I am not so afraid of fish heads as I am chicken heads. All right, I can have fish heads in my soup. Because you go to the fish market, you know, they have the big fish that they They cut the head, or they have the tail, and then the spine, and you know, they're going to, they sell it to you, you know, for cheap. And a lot of people would buy that, and they make soup out of it. I've done that. Yep. All right, let's tighten these legs so it doesn't just fall all over the place. And if you're a cook, you're always going to have those in your kitchen too, because you want to be sure you tighten your legs. And you bring the wing down. Sometimes I'm not so. Whew. So good at doing that. Okay. So now we're ready. Okay, so as soon as we have our chicken in, we're gonna start working on the batter to do the crust for our Quiche Lorraine. All right. I'm gonna set a timer. And like I said, I'm gonna put it high for the first 10 minutes and then lower it, because I want the skin to get crispy, and then you lower the heat. So 200, that's about 400, just about there. All right, because everything is in centigrade here on this stove. I actually like this stove. It performs really well. I remember I loved my stove at home too in Florida. You know, it wasn't one of those stoves where everything was, you know, the temperature would fluctuate. That messes you up. All right, and when you're doing your chicken, your roast chicken or turkey, you don't need to keep basting, okay? You leave it in the oven, and then you take it out low and slow, and all the juices are gonna stay. It's not gonna be dry. And the secret to not having dry chicken or turkey is not the basting, it's to letting it rest when it's done. You leave it alone for 10-15 minutes so everything settles in, so that when you cut it, the juices don't flow out. That's what gives you dry meat, okay? All righty. So, a ver, una hora. We're gonna put it for an hour. Maybe out to 45 minutes, and then timer. But I will check it before the 45 minutes just to make sure the top is crusty. Okay. All we need is flour. We're gonna do it over here on the counter here. All right. Now this is my food board. I don't like to use it for anything else because I don't want my food to taste like oniony. No bueno. Now, I still haven't replaced my rolling pin here. I have not. And that could be a problem. See. All right, let's see what I have in here. Do I have a rolling pin? I think I have a small one. Yeah, I have a small rolling pin. It's like a wallaby pin. So, let's see. Now this is one pie. And I don't want the crust to be too big. Remember this pan that I got? This is what we're gonna use to put our, so we just want enough, and it even shapes like how you want your edges to be. Huh, interesting. So I think maybe 1.5 cup of flour will do. What I do with my crust, I put some, some shortening in mine, okay? And I was so happy to find Crisco, because the first time I went to look for it, I couldn't find it, and I was so upset. It's not something that I eat on a regular. You guys know that. But a pie crust, you could do savory, you could do sweet, right? If you're gonna make a pie or a tart, you can add a little bit of, it's taking me a while, I gotta be debt free. Yes, it's okay. Very important. You don't want to retire here with a load of debt. No bueno. All right, we're gonna do, actually, I'm gonna start in here, and then when we're rolling it, we'll put it on the ground, on the counter. That's all the, I don't have a lot of flour in my kitchen, because I don't use it a lot. White stuff, no bueno, but I mean, so I'm doing this just to show you how to do it, and also because the kids are here, right? Okay, and so, yeah, that's plenty. And I know someone's gonna say, how much butter do you put in there? Well, you could put a stick. But I get to use my thing that this friend brought me. Oh, very nice. I forgot about that. Yes. And you can grate butter, but I don't have sticks, so I'm just gonna ad-lib it, okay? Ad-lib means as desired. You could grate the butter, it makes it easier for you, or you can cut it in small dices. But this thing here is a lifesaver. Use it for cheese, use it for butter. Okay. Oh, this is so nice. And what you're looking for in your crust, oh, that's good, is the marbling. The marbling is like when you see pieces of the butter in with your flour. That's what you want to see. All right. So this is good. I don't know if it's about a stick. Maybe a little bit less than a stick, which is fine. And then I'm going to put some of the shortening in there. And we're going to break it. So this is like maybe 1 tablespoon. Let's see, 1.5. All right. That's good. The shortening didn't get really cold, but that's okay. And we're gonna put a little salt. A little bit of sea salt. That's about 1/4 teaspoon. Because this Quiche Lorraine has bacon in it, so it's gonna have salt, okay? And then the other trick is you gotta get really some cold water or almost ice water. Okay, that is the trick. There is no leavening. You don't need to put any kind of baking powder, baking soda. You don't need that because you don't need that dough to rise, right? Oh, I get to use my pastry, what do we call this? Pastry cutter? Oh, so excited. I think, what's her name? She would be happy. Is it Deborah? Deborah brought me that. That was so nice of her. And it's a nice looking one. Okay. Alright. So you want it to be grainy, a little bit, as if you were making biscuits. And then the water, it could be 1 teaspoon or 1 tablespoon. It's as much as you need to keep it really a little bit dry. You don't want it to be wet at all. So you just kind of mix and then you add as needed, okay? Mixing very gently. I'm looking for the graininess. Doesn't take a lot of water. And then once you start mixing it, as soon as it can hold together, you stop. And then we're going to put it in the fridge for like 10 minutes. Roll it. We're going to need a... Now see, that's all. I don't need to add any more water. It doesn't take a lot of water. Yep. So now I'm going to put it onto a counter so I can form it into a ball. Poquitito. So you see, it didn't take a lot of water, did it? Maybe 2 tablespoons, if that. Because you want it to be grainy, and that's what's going to give you that crusty, flaky crust. That's what you want. You don't want it wet. Alright. Alright. Let's wrap it. So we're going to put it in the fridge for 10 minutes and then try to roll it out. Alrighty. Estamos. I'm going to put the water just in the fridge again, just in case I might need a little bit of it, okay? Alright, put that in the freezer. Check on the chicken. Yep, we can let it crisp up a bit before we lower the heat. So in the meantime, we can work on our bacon, get our onion sauteed, because that's what you're gonna need. And I have the eggs out, because you always want to work with room temperature eggs. See. It's gonna be a feast today. Mucha comida. Una comida larga. That's how we say it. Okay, vámonos. Aquí. Let's see. Please, can I know what you're making? I'm making quiche Lorraine, roast chicken, a salad. I might even do a little bit of potatoes, roasted potatoes, and rice and peas. Rice and peas takes no time because the peas are already done. Hola from the US, Ian. Very nice. I am thankful. Oh, I love that. You know, every morning when we exercise, we start with the sun salute, saying thank you to God for his blessings. And because you know what, regardless of what's happening, we are blessed, and we have to choose to be grateful. Sometimes it's easy to be despondent and woe is me, and it's like all the stuff that is happening in the world. But can you do anything about that? Right? That's the serenity prayer. Let go of what you can't change. Do what you can, which is live the best life you can, be the best human you can, be kind to people, spread kindness. See. All right. I think I want to cook the bacon first, because I want the bacon to be crispy. Because once it's crispy, then we're going to chop it, right? I could put it in the oven, but I'm going to do it. And I haven't had bacon in God knows how long. So we'll see how that goes. It's like steak. I don't even know the last time I had a steak. And I'm thinking, if I have some now, I'll get sick. Maybe we'll use the cast iron. That might be better. Ooh. This cast iron is so heavy. But look how pretty my baby is. Isn't she gorgeous? Mwah. Every chef loves a good cast iron, trust me. Mine was pre-seasoned, but every time I use it, I be sure I moisturize it. It's just like your skin. You treat it nicely, it will perform better. All right. So we are going to crisp that bacon. And then once the bacon is done, I couldn't find shallots anywhere in this place. All right, but I have a little bit of red onion, so we're going to use that instead and put it in our quiche Lorraine. Now, once I put the crust in the plate, I'm going to half bake it, right? And then making the egg mixture with the bacon. After I half bake it, put it in the fridge so it could cool off before I put the egg mixture, because I don't want the egg mixture to start cooking right away, right? Gotta think. That's what makes you cook. So we still have a little bit of, what is it? We have some butter. So how's everybody feeling today? How are you guys feeling? To me, it's like it's a daily walk, you know? Not 2 days are the same, you know? Places are being bombed, planes are falling. Yeah. It can take a toll if you're not careful, okay? So I say, guard your heart. Be careful what you watch. Goodness, how do you open this thing? Okay. All right. That's it. Whew. Okay. Calm down. That's the good thing about the cast iron. It just carries the heat really fast. Whereas my other pan, oh my gosh, it is a challenge. When I'm making stew, it's like hurry up and go, hurry up and go. All right. So we are going to, ooh, I think I'm gonna have some of these. And also the best way, I think, to cook bacon is to put it in a sheet pan, in a flat pan, and then put another pan on top. It keeps everything. If you're worried about the bacon slices being really straight, that's the best way to do it. This one I don't really care. I just want it to be crispy because I'm going to chop it. Oh, imagine how bad this thing is for you. But I know it tastes good. I know everything tastes better with bacon. I say that myself. But boy, it's bad food. All right. So while this one is going, we can also make the salad ahead of time. We don't want to waste time, right? All right. I know, I think I might need a little bit more. Or maybe I should just put some more in another pan and be done with it. This is the key to keeping you safe. Wash your hands often. That's why when you go to a restaurant, I'm telling you, blessed Sunday morning, Linda Neptune, Chef Maggie lifting us with part of, oh, thank you, darling. Well, you know what? When I'm lifting you up, I'm lifting me up, okay? Because we're in this together. This mess that we're living right now, it's affecting everyone. It's not just, we are all victims and just, whew, it's a lot. It's a lot to deal with. So I'm just trying to keep us all together, right? Because we're in this together. All right, I'm going to try not to touch this bacon again after I just wash my hands. Yeah, we just want them to be crispy. I think that's enough. Yeah, I think that's enough bacon. So it looks like I'm going to have some left. I got some eggs, bacon and eggs. Maybe once. Oh my God. Alright. So let's chop the... Now we're going to have to leave a little bit of that fat grease. I don't know. It's not really what we want to do, but when you are doing a recipe, I believe in respecting the recipe, right? It's like a song. Don't you get irritated when somebody takes somebody's song and then they put their own inflection and they move it around? And I'm like, write your own song. I know, I'm petty like that. Like, don't mess somebody else's work. And I have some pet peeves also, you know, like vegan croissant. You can't have a vegan croissant. A croissant is a croissant with lots of butter. I know I'm gonna get some hate mail for that, but don't call it a croissant. It's not a croissant. If it has no butter, call it something else. Bread, whatever. You remember the kids who went to the restaurants, I think somewhere in, was it in Australia or somewhere in Europe, and was just having a fit in front of this steakhouse about the animals being killed and calling the chef a murderer and all that. I'm like, oh my God. Go eat your veggies and your stuff somewhere else. Why do you have to make somebody else's? If they want to eat their steak, let them enjoy their steak. Woo, stop it, people. And I mean, that little girl, look. They have to call the cops and they're taking her and, you know, she's just screaming and, oh my God. So sad. Don't we have a lot more to worry about these days, right? Than what somebody's eating? At least they can eat. Oh, Ronnie, thank you. I don't know, Ronnie. We're just trying to hang in there. Because we are all struggling, okay? All of us here. The struggle is real. Whew. All right, we're going to have to put this bacon on something flat. With some paper towel so it can drain. Well, you know, seriously, I don't know why we're draining the bacon after we're gonna put cream and all kinds of things. We have all the butter in the batter. Maggie, you're so crazy. Woo. I know I am. Oh, let's check on the meat. Oh, it's looking beautiful. And I'm getting my steam treatment. It's good. All right. Oh, okay. Getting there. We want it to be crispy. Ooh. Oh yeah, that's too hot. This cast iron said too much, Mama. All right, we're gonna start putting them on the on this tray so they can drain. So that when I'm ready to cut it into the quiche, oh, yeah, this is a bit too hot. for this thing here. And we're going to have a lot of fat grease. I like to always clean as I go. I just don't like a messy kitchen. I do not. All right. Woo. All right, we're gonna turn this one off. Okay. All right. So our bacon is done. It's gonna be nice and crispy when we're ready for it. We're gonna move this to the back. Ooh, so heavy. You know, a lot of people here in Panama City, they complain that they can't grill inside their apartment because it is against the rule here in Panama because of the high risk of fire. We've had fires in this building. So good to see you, Miss Maggie, Carmen, Nantwi. I feel like I'm hanging out with my auntie. Oh, I'm so glad. A lot of people's auntie, right? Yes. So, ask me whatever question you have. Somebody had asked how long, and I answered. I said, it depends on what your situation is, how ready you are. And I think Lynette mentioned about, you need to make sure you pay your bill, you get rid of your debt, and you got to worry about what to do with your house, what to do with your car. That's why it's hard to tell someone how long it will take, because it depends on your personal situation, right? Okay. So now we're going to use this little bit of fat grease in this pan, and we are going to cut. What's the matter with you? We're going to slice our onions. That's going to replace the shallots that we don't have. Can't find shallots anywhere here. I don't know if I even know what it is if I ask for it. All right. Now we want that to be small dice. We don't want that to be thick, right? I love red onions. And sometimes I have a hard time finding it here. It's not something that they use a lot, but I'm able to find it in the Cinco de Mayo, which is like outside of a metro station of all places, right? So let's chop it, not too fine, but fine enough. Now we just want to see some specks inside the quiche. Beautiful. Now this recipe doesn't do garlic. This is a quiche, okay? So it's like butter, cream. That's what you do. And cheese, of course. And remember, the difference between a quiche and a frittata is the presence or absence of a crust. I see you are a southpaw. What does that mean? I don't know what that means. I hope it's not something mean. Because if it is, I am gonna remove you. We don't do mean things on this show. We are all nice. Now we just saute these onions because when we put the eggs and we make the egg batter, then we're going to season. Oh, and I need nutmeg. You cannot do a quiche without nutmeg, okay? Now see, the bacon is calling me, but I will be strong. Oh, here we go. I found a little nutmeg. I think mustard is mostassa. I don't remember what nutmeg is. All right. We got our nutmeg and we got our little grater here, so we're ready for that. So, chicken's looking good. In maybe about 10 minutes, I'll put a foil on top of it. Maybe. Or maybe I'll just lower the temperature and let it cook now. Yeah, that's what I need to do. All right. I think that's good because I don't want it to be too soft. So that's perfecto. All right, now we are going to go back to our crust. All right? We're gonna get the crust in that dish and we will roll it inside that pie dish. So I got my water. I have a little bit of extra flour just in case. Just in case. All right. Aquí estamos. A little dust. Now I must say that baking is not my first love, right? When I went to school, they had a program for to cook, and they had a program to bake, which was nice because when we cooked, the students would come eat our food and then they would bring us their desserts. It worked. It worked. I really need to go to Conway and get me a rolling pin. Because remember, I want that crust to be as crusty as possible. And that's what's going to give me that. When you get a slice and you see that crunch, oh, there's nothing like it. But I'm usually challenged here because it wants to break. And I'm okay with that. As long as I can roll it thin enough and put it in that pan, I'm okay with that. I saw this chef, I think he's French, and he rolled it and he put it on that pan and he just put it in there. And I'm like, oh, how sexy. And I'm not a baker, remember, I'm a cook. So, save the comments. Save the comments. But when I see the bakers, you know, working and putting decorations, remember, I am not, how do they call that? I'm not creative that way. I'm only creative in the kitchen when I'm mixing recipes. That I can do. All right, so we're trying to get it to a shape that it can get inside that pan, okay? That is the goal. Now, I don't know if I'm going to be able to get it onto that roll to get it inside. That's gonna be the challenge. Okay, I think it's thin enough. So let's see how we can pick it up. Como los podemos levantar? This is the pizza cutter I was able to find here in Panama. I'm like, oh my God. So remember, I just need to lift it up and put it in that pan. Ooh, that's gonna be a challenge. See, but we will do it. Ooh. Vamos. Vamos, niña. Nos vamos. Vamos para la calle. And you don't need to spray this pan because there is butter and shortening in this batter, so you're good. All right, so we're just gonna drop it and form it. Ooh wee. Okay. Vamos. I think it's gonna work. We just want to make sure we have enough so that when we put our batter, the crust is going to be there. All right. Whew, I tell you, you just get the oven on and it's hot. You know, in Panama, it's always warm, right? But in the rainy season, in addition to the heat, you get the humidity. Ugh. I think that's even worse. Okay? We are just shaping our pie crust, and I'm just using my hand, right? So if you're doing like an apple pie, you know, and you're doing this and you make it fancy, we don't need to do that with this one, right? But we want to be sure that when we put the batter, if it rises, then it's got something to hold it. Sí. Estamos haciendo. And then I'm going to half bake this in the oven for a little bit, because when you put the eggs in, it's going to cook fast, right? And you don't want to give your guests raw batter. So that's why you do the half bake. Last time I made it, I had a party here. And oh, they loved it. It was so good. You really could do bad with Quiche Lorraine with all that cream and eggs. Right? And like I say, you can buy a Pillsbury, you know, crust, because I remember I used to buy them. All right. So I'm just going to use a fork just to put a little bit of indentation on this crust. Not that it needs it. It's more important to get it crusty. Okay, so we're just going to do this around. Estamos. All right. So our pie crust is done. I'm going to put it, I'm holding my breath as you pick. I know, right? But it got in there, didn't it? Listen, we don't need to be perfect. This kitchen here is not about perfection. It's about taste and presentation. All right, so I'm gonna put that in. Ooh. All right, I think I'm gonna cover this chicken so it doesn't burn. I don't want the top to burn. So I'm gonna use that foil that I had, and we're gonna, she said she was holding her breath. That's funny. I was holding mine too, sis. All right, this is what it looks like so far. So we're just gonna put a piece of foil lightly over it. We don't have to cover it hard, but just now it's all about cooking. Now, when I have it out, I'm tasting the liquid that comes out to make sure that my spices are on point. Come on, give me a little bit so I can taste it. Un poquitito. I think it's good. I am basting it just because I have it out. Okay? Oh, it looks so good. Look at that. Oh, the chicken leg turned color. Oh. Ooh, that's spooky. You know, in South Africa, they presented it to me, and it had the nails and the claws. I was like, I can't do it. And this little guy said, you don't have to eat it. I was like, oh, thank you so much. Was it really? You guys have to eat it. Oh, okay. Thank you. Wow, that was perfect timing, wasn't it? Oh. Wow. I tell you. Exactly when I said I was gonna shake it. All right. So now we're gonna make our egg batter, and then we're gonna cook our rice, and then we'll be done. That wasn't bad. We're doing good on timing. All right, let's do the egg batter. We're going to use this. So, the egg batter for the Quiche Lorraine. You need heavy cream. You need however eggs you want. We're going to do 4 because I don't want too much. And then we're going to season. And we're going to chop our bacon. And when I put the quiche in the oven, it's not going to take that long because you know it's just the eggs. Because we're half baking the shell so that it's not raw. Important. You picked up the crust. Oh, okay. The result, in my opinion, is a beautiful crust. Oh, thank you. The base for that's it. And you want your crust to be crusty. That's why it's called a crust, right? So you put very little water in there, and the water has to be ice cold. That's the trick also. And your butter has to be cold, just like if you were going to make a biscuit, right? Because you want flaky biscuit again. And the shortening is a little trick that somebody told me. But anyway, so we have our eggs. And I'm using a fork to instead of a whisk, okay? Because I don't want it to be too, I don't know. Ooh, that's a teeny egg, so we'll do 5. This is a baby one. Did I tell you guys that those of you in the US, this is about $2 and something cents for a dozen. Lo siento. So we're doing 5 because the eggs are a little, because this is medium. They're not large. But otherwise you use 4. And it depends on the size of your pan, right? If you have a smaller pie shell, you probably need 3 eggs, like if you were gonna make an omelet. And I love that those yolks are nice and dark. You know how those eggs are over there, they're like white. I'm like, oof. No bueno. Oh, I love it. She said, I was holding my breath when you're picking up that crust. And remember, I don't really have a good rolling pin. I don't know where I found this little baby one. All right, we have 4 eggs. We are going to put our heavy cream. Heavy cream, super expensive here. This is about 6 ounces, and I was about 3 something. See, I don't drink milk. I don't eat that stuff. It's too expensive. Come on. So with that, I'd say about maybe half a cup. Okay, you don't want to be too stingy on that. Okay, that's that. And then we're gonna put salt and pepper. This is the time I'm happy my grinder is very fine because I wouldn't want chunks of pepper, not too much. Not adobo, not in this one, okay? We're gonna put some salt. Remembering that the bacon is salty, okay? So you have to be careful. And this is sea salt, so I'm fine with that. Put a little bit of salt. And then there is cheese. You don't need a lot of salt, okay? So salt, pepper. I like to put, and I know it's not part of the recipe, but I like to put some dry herbs, like a little bit of parsley, and this is basil leaves, and they're very kind of fine, so just a touch, not a lot, okay? And parsley, no paprika, because we don't want to break the color. It's supposed to be nice and creamy. You don't want to put paprika, it's gonna be, eso, no mucho. But the pièce de résistance is nutmeg. Whatever quiche you are cooking with eggs, not savory, you always want to put a bit of nutmeg, okay? I don't know. It adds a certain je ne sais quoi. It's like balancing the taste. All right? And then we are beating it. I don't want it to be too, that's why I'm not using a whisk, right? It's like when I make omelet, I don't want it to be, I don't know, too mixy. I don't even know what I'm saying here. But, okay. Estamos aquí. That's it. All right? So, now we have our, I use Gouda cheese, but really the recipe calls for Gruyere, but I don't know. Gonna find that here. Okay, and let's chop the bacon. You see, it's all nice and dry. You have to have bacon if you're making Quiche Lorraine. Don't call it Quiche Lorraine if you're not doing it. Don't get me upset. Call it something else. Ooh, crunchy, crunchy, crunchy. Crunchy, crunchy, crunchy. Crunchy, crunchy. And our chicken is cooking. I'm going to turn the temperature down a little bit. When you're cooking your roast, you don't want to rush through the process, right? Because you know the safe temperature of any poultry is 165 degrees Fahrenheit. And a lot of times we get sick from eating chicken because it's not cooked properly. And you know, chicken can kill you. You know that? Mm-hmm. Little salmonella, little E. coli, and you're gone. So don't play with that. That's why I tell people, if you're not sure, know where your food is coming from, how it's prepared. That's why I don't eat out a lot. I'm like, I don't trust people to cook my food the way I would cook it. Because I know what my standards are for moi, for me. And I know the restaurant is not going to think like that. Because in a restaurant, because the profit margin is so thin, it's speed. The more, we call that covers, the more the dishes, the more orders they get. That's how they make a little profit. Restaurants are not very profitable. You know where they make money? In the booze, the drinks. When you pay $8 for a glass of wine, that's how they make money, not in the food. Food cost is terrible. Because when you're in a restaurant, you got so many overhead, so much overhead. With cleaning, inspection, you got to clean the hood, you got to get rid of the oil. It's a whole process. So I think I have a renewed respect for people who work in restaurant because I did it for 2 years. Let me tell you, it is brutal, brutal work. All right. I'm just cleaning my counter a little bit because that's where we are going to plate our food and it needs to be a little cleaner. Come on. Yes. We had our crust episode. Okay. All right. And I can even start my rice and peas right now because that's not going to take too long either. But you know, rice and peas with some coconut milk. Yes. Okay. I don't need that anymore. Nor that. I might need some time to make a bouquet garni for the... Okay, I think my crust should be done out. Half-baked crust. And let's leave it just for a little bit longer. Okay. So let's start our rice and peas. Oh, did something move? It looked like it did. Okay. And all right, vamos. All right. So let's make a bouquet garni for this. This is what we're gonna throw in there once it's cooking to increase flavor. So we need thyme. I don't have cilantro. I'm using culantro, which is fine. Culantro is very abundant here in Panama. And I'm like, here, I'll use it. Why not? Porque no? You know what else the French love a lot? They use a lot of thyme. So I'm gonna chop a little bit and put it in my batter. Okay. That's that. And once we take our crust out, I'm gonna put it in the freezer for a little bit so it could cool fast. But the bouquet is, and I need 1 habanero pepper to throw in the mix to give me a nice flavor. So with this, you could also add like a bay leaf or 2. Remember, this is all about building flavor. That's why you use it. Crust looks good. Thank you, Greta. All right. And coconut milk and the beans, when you're doing, you could use kidney beans, but like I said, it makes my stomach a little bit irritable, so I don't use it. And we have coconut milk. So now I don't have a piece. A piece is a mixture of green onions and cilantro and garlic and parsley, and then you mash it all in a paste, and then you leave it in a jar, and then you just use it. Because I don't cook that much, so I don't make it, but that is a super common Haitian thing to do. But I am going to use a little bit of onions. Oh yeah, we put onions also in the épices. Some people put green bell pepper and stuff. You can. No one's gonna tell you can't, because it's like a sofrito. You're trying to build flavor. All right. And I tell people, don't be in a rush when you're cooking. Okay, I'm gonna take my crust out. Don't forget your stuff. Hit my soul. All right. So our crust is half baked. So I am going to put it in the freezer. Whew. Burn yourself, Maggie. Okay. Oh, it smells heavenly. It is hot though. Okay, there it goes. All right. I think 5 minutes. And then we're going to pour our batter. Oh, I need to remember to put a little bit of thyme in. And habanero pepper. Sometimes I get lucky and I find some. And Greta, you have those in Mexico también. But not everybody likes hot though, so you're not looking for them. I'm always looking for them. When I can't find them, a close second, I'll settle for some, what is it? Jalapeno. See, in the absence of habanero or Scotch bonnet, as I say, jalapeno is kind of a nice intro to hot food. So. And again, we don't want chunks of onion, so we need to chop it a little bit. But todo está bien, todo está bien. I didn't get a chance to get coffee this morning. I was like, You know, as soon as I finished the exercise, I needed to make sure I sent the document to my class. I had 2 Spanish classes yesterday. I tell you, I stayed busy, you guys. I stayed busy. And I tell you, it keeps me out of trouble. Keeps me out of trouble. Alright, remember, we don't ever want to burn our onion. So I gotta keep an eye on it while I'm trying to chop some garlic. So it doesn't burn. Because I don't want to have to start over. Now I had a pestle and mortar, you know, at home. I forgot to bring it when I went home last time. You can have, I had a one that was made of marble, but it was heavy. And I was like, oh, I can't carry it. You know, it takes, when you're traveling, it's all about how much does this thing weigh? You're just so worried about that. First skill you learn as a cook is to control temperature so you don't burn your food. A piece here. Sometimes you're like, I gotta put something in there so it doesn't burn, so I'm gonna put the garlic. And the garlic, as soon as you start smelling it, we call that it's fragrant, then it's good. If you let it cook any longer without adding something to your pot, it will burn. Garlic is even more fragile than onions. But that's how you start every dish, onion and garlic. And then you can add other things if you have them, like celery, carrot, onion. Those are the holy trinity, we call it. Alright, so I'm going to increase my heat. And then now, I'm going to throw my bouquet. I'm going to throw my habanero. And then I'm going to add my peas. And this is a different way of cooking rice and peas than you see Jamaicans do it. We don't cook the same way. They just throw everything in there and we don't do it like that. I'm not saying it's wrong, it's just culture and what we do. And those beans cook for like a good hour. They're from here, from Panama. I think they're called Chilicano. And I had put some bay leaves in there when they were cooking, so I'm picking them out. But nice and plump, whew, nice. I love it. That is how we cook our rice and peas. And we're gonna toast our peas and the rice. Now, when I do my rice in here before I put the liquid, that's a bit different from how I was taught. I learned this little trick in school, in culinary school, that you toast your rice and then it gets all the flavor of all the stuff in there. It makes for a better tasting rice. But our rice is pretty good. So is Jamaican rice. So I got nothing to say. It's just everybody does things a little bit differently. It doesn't mean one is better than the other. Don't come at me. I'm very inclusive. I don't ever say things about people. I just get some pet peeve about the vegan thing and, you know, I'm saying, you know, if you don't eat meat, fine. But leave people alone who do. That's the only thing I'm saying. Don't you know, impress your beliefs on me. You worried about the animals, I'm worried about people. Alright. So we're gonna let this toast. In the meantime, we are going to finish our Quiche Lorraine. So my crust should be nice and cool now. See? Right? I just didn't want to put the egg in there and it starts cooking. All right, let's turn this so you could see. Aquí estamos. Sí, sí, sí. Okay, so now this is the red onion, or if you have shallots at home, you would use shallots, right? Okie dokie. And it's almost like you're layering, but you're not really layering. So bacon. Ooh. It's gonna be nice. See, am I better? Oh, and I wanted to add a little bit of thyme in here, remember? All right, let's do that. Yeah. Just un poquitito. Poquitito. Tomillo in Spanish. El tomillo. Okay. Not el, because I'm thinking of the building that of the big tall building that we have here. We call El Tornillo. This is Tomillo with an M. Very fine now. All right, in the batter you go. That's it. No más. All right. Now we're going to put the batter in here. This is our egg and cream mixture. Eso. Okay. All right. So now we're going to put the rest of the bacon. And we're gonna grate the cheese while I'm keeping an eye on my cheese. Keep your eyes all over the place, right? I'm gonna turn it down because I'm gonna be distracted and I don't want it to burn. So I turn this down a little bit. So now it's going to be el queso. Where is the cheese? I thought I put it out. Okay, so where are you? Well, that's interesting. Where is the cheese? All right, y'all. I lost the cheese. Oh, there it is. Of course, in front of me. All right, so like I said, the recipe calls for Gruyere, which is a French cheese, but I'm in Panama. So, because you want a soft cheese, so to me, Gouda was the next best thing. And there's another cheese here they call Murray. I had used it before, but where I went yesterday, it was a bit too expensive. So I'm like, But you know, I gotta watch my pennies, y'all. So we're just grating that cheese. And sometimes I mix it with Parmesan, but Parmesan is just as expensive here too. So a little block for like $5. It's like, oh my God. Whew. Tell you, doing these recipes for you guys cost me money. I want you to know that. But I try to do things that I can eat. That way it's part of my budget. You see how I'm going around it to make sure I cover every part of it? Yes. Yum. I love Gouda cheese. So I use half a block. And it's good. Don't use mozzarella for something like this, okay? I'm gonna be upset. Okay. So I think we are good. And then another thing you could do, if you really want to be fancy, is to crack an egg and then brush the edges with the egg wash. But I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to use whatever is left in here and use that and just dab it over. Listen, you got to be inventive in your kitchen because there is egg in there, right? Okay. So, we are ready. Quiche Lorraine going in. Alright. So I'll keep an eye on it. Let's go back to our rice and peas. Okay, we're gonna get the heat up while I'm snacking on the rest of the cheese. Put the rest back in. Yeah, you're looking for a cheese that has like a nutty, buttery flavor. All right. Very nice. I'm putting a little bit of liquid because I don't want the bottom to burn. All right. So now we're gonna season. Pepper. Adobo. Paprika. I just turn the heat up a little bit in the oven. Not cumin. No, let's just leave it like this, and we will. Okay, I'm gonna put a little bit of coconut milk, about half a cup. And While this is cooking, I'm gonna wash the rice. Yep, I only have a little bit, and that's all I'm gonna use. And then the amount of the rice will dictate the liquid. That's all the rice I have in the house. Because again, it's not something that I keep here a lot, just so that if I have company. All right, we're gonna put it in. Ooh, I can smell the coconut. Learn to love coconut. I know some people don't. You don't know what you're missing. It makes everything taste good. It's good in coffee, in your smoothies, in your rice, in your porridge. You can put coconut milk in anything, pretty much. Now, when I was learning, when I was younger, they would put the liquid and then add the rice. But I started doing this since I went to culinary school, and I like the results. And then you can scrape the bottom because a lot of taste is in the bottom, in that pan. Okay? You see your Scotch bonnet and your bouquet? We're just about done. The rice won't take long. All right? So we always save the water from boiling the beans. And that's what we use as liquid, okay? All right. Now we add our liquid. And of course, this is when you doctor it up with whatever you think it might need. Gonna add a little parsley since I didn't have cilantro, because parsley is very prominent in our cuisine as well. Good. The amount of liquid is proportional to, you know, how you cook your rice, because typically they'd say 2-to-1, but I think 2-to-1 is a bit too much. And it depends also on how you like your rice. Do you like your rice grainy or do you like it tasty? Oh, I like my rice grainy. I do not like tasty rice. Okay, so this I'm gonna put in a jar, and I'm gonna save it for next time. So this goes in the freezer. With the bacon. All right. While this is cooking, we're gonna make our little salad, and we are done. You want to be sure you make sure that your rice is not sticking to the bottom, okay? So every so often you're doing this, because otherwise you're going to have this thickness of what we call gratin. People love it, but I feel like it takes away from the amount of food of rice that you want. All right. Our salad. We're gonna put in here. We're just getting rid of some stuff. The nutmeg needs to go. This needs to go. This needs to go. I'm gonna need the knife, I think. Let me clean it though. Now this is some ginger I had in the freezer. I thought about putting some in the chicken, but I was like, then I changed my mind because I love to use ginger in poultry. But for the roast chicken, I didn't. Alright, so we're gonna get pepino. Lettuce, pepino. I think I'll put a little bit of bell pepper. I'm gonna put that back in there. Pepino is cucumber in Spanish. So, let's keep an eye. Yeah. Flavor is on point. All right, we're cleaning our board so we can do our lettuce. So we didn't use, there was no meat on this board because I cleaned the chicken yesterday. So there is no cross contamination to worry about. Okay? You always should worry about that. Don't mix your meat with your salad. No, 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 no. I told you I was watching this fancy chef from somewhere in Canada. And he was doing this show, and he had a chicken breast on this board. And I'm watching because I used to love to watch those, the cooking channel. So I'm going to turn this down a little bit so the bottom doesn't burn. And the chef cut his chicken breast and everything's good. And then without missing a beat, he didn't wash his hand, didn't wash the board. He brought a piece of lettuce and he started cutting. And everybody was looking at what's happening here. What just happened? And he was just going totally oblivious. Oh my God. And then the chefs were looking, and the judges was shaking their heads, and then finally, when he's finished, then he washed his hands, right? And then he presented his plate gleefully to the chefs. And they looked at him and said, "Chef, I'm so sorry, we cannot taste your food." And he's like, "You can't?" And then they showed him the picture of him going from the chicken to the lettuce. Oh my God, I was so embarrassed for him. This is somebody who has a restaurant, and I don't know what happened to him that day, because this doesn't make sense. That you would just forget, because those things become second nature to you as a chef. That you wash your hands, you wash your board. And that's why I have 2 different boards here in my little kitchen. Oh my God, I was so sad for him. So sad. Oh. On national TV. So embarrassed and stuff like that. She's like, oh no. Oh. But maybe he was so excited to be on the show, he forgot. But, oh, that was terrible. Now you see, I turned this thing to low and it's still going strong. All right, so now we're going to Monte-au-Beurre. You guys know what that means, right? You add a little butter to the top. I know my Haitian family, they would put this butter that is orange and yellow, and you know what? Now I have no idea what's in it. Now I know this is milk and cream, but I don't know, that butter is not real food, so please don't use it. I grew up with it. But you see, that's the thing. As you grow up, you need to learn better and improve. That's why sometimes I think of what I used to feed my kids. I shudder. But I didn't feed them the right stuff. All that high C and ouch, whew, gosh, Hawaiian punch. Does anybody remember Hawaiian punch? Wow, yes. I fed these kids all that coloring, food coloring, and nothing. There's nothing good in that. Nothing good. Ugh. And then they say that those food colorings are, you know, really a culprit in kids having autism. I don't know, because, you know, there is this debate about autism, if it's caused by immunizations and whatever, and we don't want to get started on immunization, because there's going to come a time where they won't even let us inoculate the kids. But whew, all I can tell you is that I'm glad I'm old. I don't think I would want to be young right now. These poor kids are going to have it rough. Yep. All I can do is pray for them. All right, so we lower the heat. And again, some people you would see put a piece of foil on here, which you can if you want to. It's not forbidden. Okay? I don't like the big ridge in my salad. That's why I'm taking them off. All right, so we're finished with our rice. So you see how fast you do things concurrently. Then you don't have to worry. You're going to be finished about the same time. Let me take a look at my things in here. Ooh. Yeah. Okay. So they're so sensitive. All right. Now this lettuce looks like it would be perfect for like Caesar salad. I'm not a lettuce person because I feel like this is a food that is really has no nutritional value, and I don't waste my time with food like that. That's why if I'm making a salad, I use spinach. But the spinach here is not like the spinach I'm used to, so it's a little bit heartier and it's not really suitable for salad. So I just cook it. All right, and we only have the kids here and I, so we're not going to make a huge salad. So we have our lettuce. We're going to get to our pepino. I keep saying I need a new, let me rinse it, a new peeler. And the tomato. Yeah, there was a little pack of cherry tomato yesterday that was like $5. And I'm like, no, we're not buying that. So I got some raw tomatoes, and that's what we're gonna have. And see, as a consumer, you have to, use your money wisely, right? So, oh, the rice tastes, it smells. All right. I like the slices of the cucumber. I like them thin. You could dice them if you'd like. It doesn't matter how you do it. Okay? And if I tell you in the back of the kitchen that your people are touching your salad like this, you wouldn't believe me, right? Because it said RTE food when I was in school. In the restaurant, you should not be touching ready-to-eat food. Now, this is my house. I don't have to wear gloves. But if I was in a restaurant, I would wear gloves to touch these, okay? Ready-to-eat food, you should always wear gloves. But they don't. I was in those restaurants, I'm telling you. And just like in nursing and healthcare, your hands carry so much. So if you're not washing your hands, you are going to hurt somebody. That's why I don't like to eat out. I'm cooking my own food. Thank you very much. I know where it's coming from. I know how I cook it. So what here, I'm just going to put a little bit of, I have some yellow and red peppers. I'm going to add some, just to add a little color. Woo. Almost ready, guys. Only one tomato. See, I can do this. That I can afford. ¿Dónde está? ¿Dónde está? Corazón. Oh, here it is. And in a salad like this, you could also put some very thin sliced red onions. Would be nice, right? Because in our Spanish class, we were studying ordering food. And then one of the ladies said, cebollas rojas. I'm like, oh, you're going to ask cebollas? She said, yes, that's what I want. I'm like, oh, all right, sis, you can have your cebollas. They're doing so well. I'm so proud of them. Oh, my goodness. All right, so now I don't have anything I can do round for this, so I'm just going to keep them at this size. Because you like to keep all your cuts about the same. Okay? Remember that. So, okay. La ensalada está lista. Okay. So I'm going to put it in the fridge and then whip up a little dressing really quick. We're going to do maybe a little bit of, I don't have honey. Let's see. I have, a ver, ¿qué tengo aquí? So we're gonna put a little bit of our herb oil in here and add some, ooh, the rice smells amazing. But I don't want to put the bottom because I don't want it to be too, have too many spices in. So I'm just gonna take the top. I'm gonna add a little bit more oil. And some red wine vinegar, vinagre, como se dice en español. Okay, and if you had balsamic, you could, but it's not balsamic. I have sesame oil. That's not the same thing. A little bit of salt, pimiento. Now I like to use lemon juice or lime juice. We're gonna put a little bit of that in there. We got lime. You roll your lime before you cut it. You release the juices, right? Ooh. Ooh. Yes. So my chicken should be done. Let's go squeeze some lime juice in here. All right. And let's see what it tastes like. It's almost like a little vinaigrette, right? Okay, so let's taste. It's really good. Just a little bit of salt. And then we're good. I was gonna put some Dijon, but nah, no Dijon. Okay. So for plating, okay, we're gonna need a small dish. But what I need to do right now is take the chicken out and let the chicken rest a little bit. Remember I talked about the resting the chicken so the juices don't fall out? Have it. If I had a thermometer and I would check it, but I know it's been in here for over an hour, so I know it's good. And the here it is. So we can baste it. And let it rest. Let it rest for a little bit. And ooh, yum. Okay. All right, let us check the rice. Okay. Five minutes. All right. So this is our chicken, roast chicken. The Quiche Lorraine is in there. So I'm gonna start setting the plates. And take some pictures. Oh, and we're gonna have to cut the twirl out of this chicken here. Okay. All right. Okay. So we have salad, we have Quiche Lorraine. Ooh, come on, Quiche. You look so good. Just need a little bit more color. The crust looks good. Get the rice. Okay. And for the rice also, we're gonna get the habanero pepper out. And the bouquet. We don't want that to fall in here. There we go. Let me take it out. All right. So good. This is the rice. And the chicken. Video. Yes, okay. All right, I'm gonna turn the oven off and just leave it 2 minutes. And I smell it. Smells so good. All right, so it's, let's see, 2 hours. So I'm gonna cut it, but usually I would leave it in here a little bit longer. All right, guys, just remember that you need to let your chicken rest for like a good 15-20 minutes. Same goes for your turkey and your steak, if you're into steak. See? That's why I don't cook rice, because I like rice too much. All right, so let's get our plate. Whew. It smells heavenly. So let's see. Oh, we need a big plate for this to plate this, okay? There's a lot. It's a lot of stuff gonna go on one plate. And of course the salad, you would put it in a different plate, but since I'm not coordinated, so we're gonna put everything on one plate. But if I had like a set, I would put it in a salad plate, of course. Pero we're gonna do what we can here. All right. So I'm thinking, which should be the star? Should we do chicken breast in the middle, rice on the side, quiche Lorraine over here, and then salad? So maybe rice over here, chicken over here, quiche Lorraine, rice, and then the salad, right? Okay, let's do that. We're gonna be slicing this chicken. We need our serrated knife for that. You need a knife that's gonna give you that, a knife with teeth. That's what we call a serrated knife. So, a ver, we're gonna do the chicken breast, okay? Oh, beautiful. Look at that. You know, it's like when you're carving a turkey. Almost. No, don't take the skin off. I want the skin. I want my skin. You know, it's like duck. I haven't had duck in so long. I don't even think I see that here, but I think they have frozen ones. Okay. Oh, shoot. I didn't show you. Sorry. Here we go. We cut a piece of the chicken breast with the skin. Would you like me to do a leg? Want to do a leg? Let's do a leg. Drumstick. Vamos. But you know, I remember my husband used to always want the breast. He didn't want anything else but the breast. So we're gonna do that. Let's put a wing, maybe? Certainly not a chicken foot. Oh my God. That would be something else, okay? Yes. Oh my goodness. Chicken feet. No. Yo no me como. How would you say that? Los pies del pollo. No. Okay, let's see. How are we gonna plate this? Okay, that looks good. Maybe put the, yeah, I think like that. So we're trying to figure out the best way to plate this chicken. Nice and moist. Okay. All right. So now we got the chicken. We're gonna do the rice here. So we can mold this rice. Yes, we do. We can mold this rice here. Rice and peas. It looked like I did a dish like that before, but I'm thinking, what else did I have? Was it oxtail? I don't remember. But remember, in the Caribbean, when they give you rice, they give you rice, okay? It's not like a little side dish. It's like the star of the plate is the rice. So get yourself a thing, you know, like a ramekin or something round. And once you do that, it's going to mold it for you, okay? And then you go down. And ta-da! All right. Whew. Beautiful. Now let's check on the, I should have left the, oh, look at it. Wow. The Quiche Lorraine really needs to cool off as well. You don't ever plate your food too hot. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Quiche Lorraine. Quiche Lorraine. You know you want to whiff. You know you want to whiff. I said play with your food. Okay, I don't want to put it on here. That's too hot. It's going to crack my thing. I don't want to do that. Okay. Wow. That's why even if it takes me a little time, I don't mind. To get the results that I want, to get this, you got to do the crust. You got to cook the bacon. Huh? Yes. Alrighty. Of course, I got to take a picture. I was taking a picture. Whew. Yes. Okay. I think now it's not puffy anymore. Ooh. My face is puffy. All right. Let's got to figure out how to get it out. All right, so we're going to cut it like a pizza, and hopefully it's not too warm, but usually you should leave it, let it rest a little bit. Oh my God. But I know it's kind of late. I've kept you long. So we're going to do all right. I think we'll do it. All right. Let's pick it up. We got it. Quiche Lorraine. Yes. Bonjour, Quiche Lorraine. Okay. And we have our salad dressing. Now we're gonna add some greens. Okay, so I'm thinking, what else do I need to put on this side to balance it a little bit? So how about a couple of slices of lemon? You can't ever go wrong. So if I had nice cilantro, I would, or nice parsley, or some haricots verts, which would be French side green beans. We're gonna do that here. And then you would put the salad dressing in a dish. I don't know, I'm gonna use this one because I use this to put, you know, for coffee, but we're gonna put the dressing in here. And voila. And then, let's see. And here we go, folks. Voila. So the other thing I could do also is to add a little gravy onto that chicken because I don't want it to be so dry. So this is from the pan. Okay, you don't want your chicken to be dry. I'm gonna take that out. It is very nice gravy. Okay. So I know it was a labor of love and it was long. I did tell you it was gonna take a little bit longer. So we're done. We are done, ladies. I mean, that's a lot of food for one person, but you get so much leftover left, so you could be eating for 2 or 3 days. And when I cook here, that's what I do. If I cook something that I like. So the kids are gonna have, I don't know, lunch or brunch or whatever, and then they'll have some left over for today and tomorrow because the cook is off after today. The chef is off. All right, guys, thank you so much. I know it's a lot, Deborah. I wanted to show you guys how I make this quiche Lorraine, but typically I would just do a salad or a fruit salad. You don't want anything else because this is so rich, okay? But I needed to cook for my kids here, so I needed to do the chicken, and I had boiled the beans and I needed to use them, so we just put it all together, but you don't have to eat all that, all right? Because that's kind of heavy. But it is so good. Yes. All right, Lynette, thank you for hanging with me, Cynthia. Listen, that rice is going to be my undoing. I can eat the chicken, but the rice, it is so good. Listen, rice, plantains, don't put these around me. I'm going to eat them. All right, guys, thank you for hanging with me. Have a beautiful day. I know it was a long one, but couldn't be helped. You cannot rush perfection. That's what I say. All right, guys. You're welcome. Carmen. Lynette, I know Greta is sending the drone over for her plate. All right, guys. God loves you. Have a beautiful day. Bye bye.